stress from it.
Stress, all that shit.
Well, I have a weird take about gray hair that I'll leave to when we get going. Gray hair is, I gotta take. Oh, really?
Yeah, dude.
Okay,
Yo,
yeah, you
it's
edited it.
super-
So, yeah.
It's super smooth, bro. And matter of fact,
So-
even though I just said that, ladies and gentlemen, actually, real quick, just to make sure I have this.
Awesome. Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
Awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ayoo Chill podcast. Today I have for you my boy Steff. If you want to go
What's
and
going on?
introduce yourself, like I usually give like a crazy introduction, but like you get to go ahead.
I'm Drunkle Steffi. You can find me on Instagram, and I'm wild. I just don't care too much about responsibility. It's why live your life just going through stuff you don't want to do. Only got one life. Like, I know it's like, it's corny and cheesy, but like, it's true. Like,
Yeah, dude. Totally feel it.
The best part about life is like every day there's something new or something new that you could actually do or accomplish, and that, like, every day you get is a blessing. Like, it's like I don't know what you think about it, but
What, just like life in general?
yeah,
Or
like just like what, like the meaning of life, like that question. That's the age-old question.
if we want to go on the meaning of life, shit.
Well, it's 420.
Yeah,
That's
bro,
just, I'm
fuck.
high.
Oh,
as a
yeah.
kite,
Bro,
so, yeah.
happy 420.
Oh, yeah.
Happy 420 to everybody watching.
Awesome. Hope you got some marijuana in you. I know I do. I'm baked.
So let's talk the meaning of life. I don't know. It could go a lot of different directions depending on how you look at it. You know,
Yeah.
I think as you get older, you're searching more for your meaning of life.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's a certain age where I think as people who are adults, and by adults, I don't think adultness necessarily has an age.
No.
I think being an adult it switches from. I don't know.
You realize that your dreams, like, you might not get them. That's when you really become adult.
Yeah.
Like, that's why, like, that's the gray hair thing. Like, I don't think gray hair is from stress or anything like that. I think it's like from when you realize that maybe your dreams that you had as a kid, you start to realize that they're not going to come true. That's what I think real gray hair comes from. Is like when you start to realize that maybe all those things that you wanted to accomplish in life, like when you were a kid growing up, like, I don't know about you, but I wanted to be an architect when I was growing up.
And what stopped that?
I mean, just like the schooling, like, and like I'm not good at school. I was never really like good at school, and I never really thought it mattered, because hell, you could just walk into a university, right? Like nowadays, like you could walk into Brown University or Cornell University, and no professor is gonna know that you're not supposed to be there. So you're paying more for the piece of paper from like Harvard or Yale. But you're not really learning anything. Like, you could walk into any college campus and then just hop into a class. But it's educate yourself on your own instead of having to pay for the piece of paper. All the piece of paper says is like, well, I don't have one, so let's just get that right. I went to 3 colleges.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What were those 3 colleges?
First off, out of high school, which was 2015, I went to Wilkes University, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Lasted 1 semester there. Then came home. Then took a year off. Then went to Passaic County Community College for 2 semesters. That didn't work. So then I went to Fairleigh Dickinson, Madison campus. So
Word.
that didn't work out either. So.
And were you studying like the same thing throughout them, or like?
Yeah, no, I didn't really give a shit about the school.
No, you know what?
I was just partying. I was dumb. Like, you know, like, and like I realized, like, why are we? I don't think at 18 you should be going to college.
Why?
Because, like, I don't know about you, but for me, my curiosity toward the world and obtaining knowledge and like truth and like objective truths and all that stuff, and realizing like what the That truck just screwed me.
No, you're good, bro. You're good, bro.
So it's more like when I turned like 24, which is when you're supposed to graduate and be done with college. That's when I started to want to know knowledge, like obtain knowledge that I didn't know prior. So, and when you're 18, you don't really like want to learn. Really, you've already gone through school for what 12 years of your life, and I think if you take a break and like, I think you should if you're listening and you're thinking about going to college, take a semester off and think about it, because that you're getting burnt out from that repetitive schooling, and you don't really learn anything because your brain is already like worried about the last semester. So how are you gonna start a new one?
You know, I think I could definitely agree with that in a certain sense.
Yeah.
Of like, I was fortunate because I went into music.
Yeah.
And I got a scholarship to go to school.
Oh, good.
So
No, that's dope. Yeah.
The monetary part wasn't as important to me because I had support. You know.
Yeah.
I did work hard in high school though to get to that point, but you know, not everybody has it figured out. You know.
Oh no.
I think,
I'll be lying if I said that I have it figured out.
yeah, because like when I was in 8th grade, I knew that the rest of my life would involve some type of form of music or art. You know,
you had it down pat right then and there. You knew exactly what you wanted to do and what you wanted to accomplish. But like me growing up, I didn't know any of that. I was just too busy playing in the dirt or something like that.
And you know, for somebody like you, I feel like that experience of the world would help way more because, like I said,
I've been all over the United States, so like
that's actually we'll get into that too because I was peeping that a lot too.
I've been all over the place, so.
But you know,
I've been fortunate enough to have like my parents, like half the trips I took, my parents paid for. But
that's
sick.
sick.
Like the other trips that I took, I paid for, and I was just like, I want to get out because, like, fuck it, like, why not? That's what I say when I'm making any decision. Just fuck it, like.
Yeah.
But so.
Yeah, no, because to your point, you know, you're paying, you know, let's say you go to Penn State and you're paying $40,000 a year. And $40,000 a year, you add that up, that's $160,000 in 4 years. You know, would you rather? You know, I just came back from Florida and took a small vacation, right? Little like 4-day little trip. You know, and I think I spent around like $1,000 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere. So I think it was actually a lot less. I think it was about like $700, right?
Yeah, you could travel. You could get in the United States at least. Excuse me, but you could have a good time with $1,400 traveling around. That's it. Like, I recently went to my cousin's wedding about like, I think it was just like 2019. It was right before or after COVID really hit, and they had to reduce the wedding size from like 550 people to like 250 people.
That's tough.
Yeah.
How do you even go about that? How do you just uninvite 250 people?
Well, like, it was also like there was the fires were going on in this
It's in California?
The wedding was in Portland.
Portland. Oh, okay.
Was in Portland, Oregon, and that was when that whole Pacific side was on fire. So when we flew into Portland, you looked outside and it looked like it was hellfire on the everywhere underneath the cloud was just orange. Just looked like it was like you flew into hell. That's like, I think that's what my dad said or something like that, because it was just me and my dad. But yeah, he said you're flying into hell, like, and it was surreal. So we were going to stay out there and stay with my uncle and my cousin and my other cousin, and we're just gonna like drive down Pacific Coast Highway and just do like that whole trip down into like Northern California and then all the way up into like take a 7 days out. But instead, my dad's a severe asthmatic, so he has to I have pretty bad asthma myself. So, but the smoke was just you couldn't breathe. Like you were literally suffocating just trying to breathe, and like you would go into a house and it was still smoky in there, or try to get any sort of relief. So we decided to just drive west or drive east, because we were supposed to have a flight from Portland to Denver anyway to go back. So we said, just screw that, we'll just drive to Denver. And that was a sick trip. We went through Yellowstone. We started off, we went on the northern side of the Columbia River, which separates Washington and Oregon. I swam in that too. It was cold. It was like 40 degrees. It was shivering. There were a bunch of chicks that just dove into us in their bikinis, and it was like 11 o'clock at night. I was just about to fall asleep. My dad's like, "Hey, Aunt, there's chicks in bikinis." And once he said chicks in bikinis, I was up and out the door. Like, yeah, I'd be too. He looked out, and I was like, he's like, "Yeah, Aunt, there's chicks in bikinis," and I'm like, the second he said that, I was out the door. I hit the door like a bat out of hell, and and I ran down there. I did a backflip, and that was it. But
so, how do you feel like a lot of these trips? Because I seen that I was peeping on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Because you've been to California.
At Drunkle Steffi.
Yes.
Drunkle Steffi. Drunkle_Steffi.
You've been to California, Alaska, Oregon. I
Hawaii.
saw you took a trip to Hawaii.
I was in
Aruba,
Hawaii,
too.
Aruba, Bermuda, Hawaii, Aruba. I did take a trip to Mexico, but I gotta stay away from Mexico. I gotta stay away from Mexico. It's not a good place for me.
Yeah.
No.
Lets the demons out.
No, it's Mexico. Everything. Like, yeah, it's literally the freest country in the world. You literally could do anything.
Word.
You could take a dump on the street and then grab it and toss it at somebody, and literally they really like, you'll probably get shot, but you could do it. Like you try to do that around here, bro. Like somebody's gonna come up and smack you. Like,
yeah, dude.
But you do that down there, like they really don't care. Like Tijuana is a weird place.
How was Tijuana for you? Because I didn't
know. Go to Tijuana.
Word.
I went to it was a resort. It was like 3 days. This one chick, her family was going, and she invited me, so I was like, screw it, why not? So Mexico, let's go.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, it was all expense paid, and all I had to do was put out a little bit, and that's it. That was basically it.
So how'd you feel like a lot of these experiences, let's say besides Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Like, because we were talking before about education and how colleges. I honestly believe that too. College isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of other people could benefit from more life experiences.
Oh,
and spending their money on life experience or working towards that rather than sitting in a classroom where you're not really learning jack shit sometimes.
You're zoning out and stuff all the time because they're just like, and half the time the professors aren't even talking about this. I learned more when I was at Wilkes in my public speaking class. I knew more about the professor's cat situation, like how her cat was doing, than I didn't know about how to learn how to publicly speak.
Word.
Which I got no problem publicly speaking, but like she literally spent all her time just talking about how sick her cat was.
I will say this though. Do you feel like you've ever had like a good teacher before?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you feel like in high school, college?
High school and not really. High school was a little bit different because you're talking to somebody who's like not much older than you, and like they're only there. Most teachers nowadays are there for the summers off. Me personally, like I believe that most teachers are there for the summers off and all that stuff. But then there's also teachers that genuinely do want to teach you. But yeah, I haven't, not one teacher stuck out to actually wanted to help. I feel like they're all just there, not collecting a paycheck, because there are some that like really love to educate people. And hey, everybody loves to educate people. That's why you talk to people. Yeah. Like that's why you talk to people. And that's why podcasts exist, so you could talk to people as you, and people could benefit from it. Like, I don't know, but Joe Rogan's podcast, like I'd benefit a lot from that because that's just the knowledge. It's free knowledge. Like you can take it with a grain of salt, but like I love when he has like all the animal people on talking about like some like ancient dinosaur that had three dicks or something like that. Yeah. Like that shit is like really like, but yeah, there's like weird shit like that. Mm-hmm. Like I know that sea turtles, they have to get their dicks have to get to a certain temperature for them to actually use it. They have to preheat it basically.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
There's a lot of weird mating rituals in the Wild Kingdom too.
Yeah, that I know for sure.
I think there's also like 3 or 4 species of animal that actually like rape each other. Chimpanzees do that. Yeah, dolphins do it.
Yeah, dolphins, chimpanzees. I know like there's certain monkeys that do it.
Yeah.
I've watched those Joe Rogan podcasts before.
Yeah, so yeah, they're awesome because they just like they enlighten you to stuff that you never would know that, like was actually true. Just like I like his like the all physics and stuff. I think physics are like.
You fuck with physics?
Yeah, because my father was a mechanical engineer.
Oh, sick.
So he doesn't really use it because he owns his own packaging company, and it's called Absolute Packaging and Supply.
Word. He's
out of Patterson, P-Town.
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah, and he's been there for 30 years.
That's sick.
He's owner, president, and owner of it. So been going for 30 years, and he's a smart man. But yeah, he taught me a lot about physics and math and all that stuff, and I think physics is awesome. Like it's like how arrows work. Like this morning, I was at I got introduced to by my really good friend Tom Abraham.
Yeah, I know Tom.
He introduced me to this guy that does archery. So we have archery shoots every like Wednesday and Thursday.
That's what's up.
In the morning, and it's great. Like and. You if you shoot an arrow from like 40 yards away with a traditional recurve or like 50 yards away, you let the arrow go, and you hear the thump of the bow like come back to like rest sort of, and then like 3 or 4 seconds later you hear the thump of the arrow hit, and it's like whoa, like bow and arrows are deadly weapons. Like I think if you really want to worry about people, like I'm surprised there haven't been more like shooting accidents with bows and arrows.
Really? How so?
Like this is it's gonna take a dark turn. So this is gonna take a really dark turn. I'm letting you know in advance,
bro. I'm literally chill with anything. Man.
So let's talk like the school shootings.
Okay.
A gun in a hallway will make a lot of noise. One shot, it's all like a 9mm. I shoot guns regularly up in Pennsylvania and stuff. So a 9mm bullet in a closed area like this studio right here, your eardrums are going to be ringing for about 15 seconds to a minute. Even if you cover your ears, they're still going to be ringing. So in a hallway of a cement hallway of a school, that one shot out of a gun, you're the bing, and that's going on for 2 or 3 minutes with a bow and arrow. And then within that 2 or 3 minutes, everybody knows to go like hide. Mm-hmm. With a bow and arrow, you won't even know where it came from. You'll have no clue. Unless you saw the arrow come in, which is virtually impossible, only with like a traditional recurve, then you could actually like sort of see it or clock it. But yeah, that's why I think bows and arrows and crossbows and all that stuff, like they're so silent.
They are very silent.
So if you're gonna really want to do some damage and not get caught or anything, you go with a bow and arrow.
You know, it's funny how you have this knowledge because, you know, it's funny. What you're into culturally is very different from what I feel like a lot of people from where we're from.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
I mean, there are people like in and out, you know, who are used to going out to Pennsylvania, upstate New York. And funny enough, I actually grew up with a little bit of the culture too. Believe it or not.
Where?
I actually, so my friend, my best friend growing up, his grandpa had a trailer out in what's it called, Roscoe, New York.
Okay,
upstate New York.
Yeah, I know where that is. My boy just came back from a fishing trip up there.
Yeah, dude. So like, you know, there's some beautiful hills up there.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Coyotes, and what we would do, we'd grab quads and we just go driving through shit,
there's thousands of miles of trail up in the Adirondacks and up in the Roscoe and Port Jervis.
Yeah, right
Port
around
Jervis,
there. Yeah. And it's really fun, and you know, he'd always he had guns, you know, for protection.
Yeah,
because you got coyotes out there. You never know what the fuck's gonna happen. You're a little kid out there riding a fucking quad.
Yeah, if you got a little animal, coyotes not that small, honestly. Like I've shot a couple. Mm-hmm. Because out in Pennsylvania, like the culture thing, like to get into that. Like, yeah, I'm really different from like the kids we went to high school with.
Yeah, for sure.
Like there were a couple of them, like well, every high school has its niches, and like the people like the people that the cheerleaders, the geeks, or whatever, like or whatever you want to call them. But then there's also like weird cultural things like that, because like I love shooting guns, and I love the whole thing about like being able to protect yourself and like not have to worry about calling somebody else to do it for you. And up there, like I learned how to chop wood. Like some of my, honestly, up in my Pennsylvania house, it's right south of Easton. It's like not that far. It's right over the bridge, right over the Delaware. So we have like 45 acres. It's a wooded area. It's on the top of the mountain. So I grew up riding. Like all my best memories I have are up there. Like.
And what are some of those memories?
Oh, like when I was a kid, every year we did New Year's up there. And it was great because then there was a lot of snowfall back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And the snow was covered, but like the sun was beating on it all day. And then like the top layer of snow would melt, but it wouldn't seep down, and then just as quickly as it melted, it froze back up.
And it gets like a little icy layer.
Everything was icy, and even the trees, like they would just ice over, and now I understand, like Winter Wonderland, like that place was awesome because I had all my cousins over, like all my cousins that were at least my age, and there was only 2 of them, and then a bunch of like my mom's friends who had kids, and like everybody, we all had kids. There was like 4 or 5 couples there, and the house could fit like 23 too comfortably. It's a massive house, and like we were just kids running around in the snow, playing in the snow, riding quads, just shooting clays.
What are clay? Oh,
clay birds, like they're like this size, shooting with a shotgun. Yeah. I've been doing that since I was 4. Shot my first clay bird when I was 7 or something like that. Like we've done it a lot, and it's awesome because like, but it was also weird because like you come back to here from being there, and you're expecting. You come back and like you act like you were acting up there, but then like around here it's felony. Like these are like those things you could get in trouble for. Like you should have gone around here. There's a cop at you, or somebody's calling the police. And like, but out there, guns are way of life. It's part of the culture, and it was weird having to come back and deal with the kids around because I had a friend group up there that were from the area, so. Mm-hmm. It was weird having to come back and like just reacclimate yourself to the environment, and like it was weird because like you're used to like talking like, hey, let's go blow something up, or let's go like trailblaze, like just go make a new trail, let's go chop a tree down, let's go, I don't know, blow up a fuel tank or whatever we used to do. And we used to do some fucked up shit. Like I remember I would take the M80s. Firecrackers. Okay. I would light them and throw them under people's chairs when they were sitting down. Like this is the shit I would do when I was a kid. Like,
and what reaction would you get out of that?
Oh, so mixed, very mixed reaction. My dad loved it. My mom hated it. But I would do it to everybody. I would just pull little tricks on them. I like putting. I would take the soles out of their shoes and then put them on the opposite foot.
Word. Okay.
Mix the shoes up. Yeah, I was just doing stupid shit, like nothing that like could cause harm. Mm-hmm. But it's just like you were saying, like the cultures are different. Like,
yeah. So did you always feel like an outsider living here?
Yeah. It was also living where we grew up, with Little Falls area, and PV. I came from a family that had a lot of money.
Word.
And I lived in Great Notch, up the hill. Word. All the way up at the hill, like up near the MSU, like, and I had an Upper Montclair address. Mm-hmm. So my house is located in Little Falls, but I have an Upper Montclair address. So it was weird because like everybody would see, like, you know, the phone books that they used to give out with everybody's addresses and numbers.
Yeah, I remember.
And everybody would see mine and say Upper Montclair. So I always got the rich kid stigma. That's the one I got. That's the one I got for a long time, and it was hard. was hard dealing with that because like you try to like run around with kids down on the playground or right outside, like growing up and playing on the playground like at school, and they were just like they not shun you away, but like you're not part of the Singat crew or you're not part of the like the center of town crew, like you know. Because also everybody ride your bike. You ride your bike everywhere.
Yeah.
I lived at the top of the hill, so.
Word. Riding a bike's a little bit harder.
Well, yeah, riding a bike is a little bit harder. Yeah, because also like if I rode my bike down, my dad told me you ride it back up.
Yeah.
It's like if you want to bring it down, we'll bring it. You bring it back up. Sometimes he would come down and with the pickup truck and I throw it in the back. Like I would ride down all the way, but it was hard because. You're always 10 minutes late or 15 minutes late everywhere. You didn't really have a phone, and when you did get to where you were, like they could have decided like, hey, let's go there, but I didn't know. So half the time it was me just riding around town looking for bikes on the lawn or something. There's nowhere people were hanging out.
Word.
So or going to the parks and stuff, or showing up at like my friends' houses that I knew I was gonna hang out with, and like say like, hey, where'd they go, like or whatever. And it was hard, but you know what? It was. By the time high school came around, they didn't really give a shit because I grew 8 inches.
Yeah.
I grew 8 inches, and all that fat that was accumulating around here just started to like evenly disperse. Mm-hmm. And like that's like people started hanging out with me then, and like yeah, high school I was a party animal. I threw massive parties. Most of them, two of them. Or 3 of them got busted. I walked out of my house in handcuffs.
So you know what's funny? I feel like it's kind of insane because I feel like maybe like this past year I've seen you like a little bit more. I've seen you here and there. Like
Pat has a lot to do that. Pat, shout out Pat Damiano.
Yeah, shout out Pat. You know he and it's funny because you kind of have this when I saw you growing up. Yeah. It was like very like, cause I remember, bro. I remember when we were kids and seeing you up, cause you're like a grade older. Like you know, like I don't know, like seeing who you were then and seeing you blossom. Oh, whether people agree or not, how it looks like, you know.
Oh, I was a dick. I was a little, like if I have one thing to say, to, like my 13, 14-year-old self, quit being a bitch. Like that's big. Because when I look back at like who I was as a little kid, I was a bitch. I get secondhand embarrassment by like how I used to like dress and look. Like, it's when I look back at like who I was then and who I am now, it's like what the. Like,
but you were a kid, you know what I mean?
I know, yeah. You gotta give yourself a little credit though, and like a little like leeway because you were a kid, like you didn't know jack shit.
Listen, I am not proud of myself in any way up until maybe the end of freshman year of high school, because like that's kind of when I started getting it a little bit more, you know. And like you know, throughout high school, you're kind of like figuring yourself out, you know. But at the same time,
high school, you're thrown into it. Like it's like you're, all right, let's go. Like you're thrown into it a little bit in high school, modern day high school. Like high school for me was fun. I don't know. It was well, parts of it were fun, parts of it were horrible, but this is high school. Like that's just. But. So
what you're doing now, you know, like I said, I feel like you're a very explosive personality, and I think that's why
it's not good.
Why is it not good?
Gets me in trouble.
I mean,
gets me in trouble because like I don't have a filter. I say whatever, like whatever I think of, I'll just blur it out, and like sometimes I'll catch myself like what. Why are you like this? Like,
so do you feel like you'll be saying stuff that's like out of pocket, for example?
Oh,
like, just because it's like, do you think it's because you mean it, or do you just think like you're just fucked up and it's just like, you know, like
I have a fucked up sense of humor in general.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know about you, but Anthony Jeselnik, he's funny as hell to me. Like all of his sticks about this, like they're just horrible. Like that dark humor.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
I think it's funny as hell.
I think dark humor is hilarious.
Mm-hmm. To a certain extent.
You know what? I will
There's a fine line with dark humor.
It's definitely more of a vibe type of thing. You know what I mean? You got to read the room. You got to read the vibe. You know.
You also can't just dive into dark humor.
Yeah.
You have to, because like I don't know, like with comedy and stuff like that, and like making people laugh. It's not about what you say, it's when you say it. Like, I don't know, I think, who was it? Some famous comedian said it's all like 20% of comedy is what you write down, 80% of it is timing.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. And so and you know, the world that we're living in right now, it's like people are very sensitive.
People need to fucking laugh a little bit more.
One of the things that you had comments on that I put it on the Ayoo Chill story was when Will Smith got slapped, right?
Yeah.
And that whole situation.
Oh, dude.
I thought it was ridiculous.
I could talk about that for hours, dude.
I mean, bro, we could take a couple minutes to talk about it now, because like that shit, bro, like it had me pretty tight when it happened at first.
I was pissed
because like
I didn't watch it, but because I don't watch that bullshit. I think it's
I don't really watch it either.
I think the whole thing in general is a bunch of fucking bullshit.
I just saw it when it popped up on Twitter, and I saw it, and I was just like, yo, and it's not even like a bad joke. Like he could have said a lot of things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like
could have said a lot of things.
Like Chris Rock obviously knows what was going on with Jada and like that stuff, and like he easily could have said a way worse joke than, like, I think Theo Von said it best. Everybody has alopecia. We're all going bald. That's literally how it works. Like, when you die, you lose your hair. Mm-hmm. And like your hair will actually keep growing because keratin is your fingernails and your fingernails and your hair will keep growing for like 3 months after you die.
Shit, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, don't quote me on the 3 months, but like they will keep growing.
I
after you
imagine
die.
they grow at least a little bit more. Yeah,
but like, yeah, we're all balding in a way. Like, what I also have a problem with her taking it taking offense to it is like, you loaded the gun. Like, nobody would have known she had alopecia if she didn't publicly like say that I struggle with it. Like, you're basically loading the gun and giving it to the public to shoot you, and then once they shoot you, you blame them. You gave them the gun.
Well, I'll say, you know, regardless whether she like said it or not, I think regardless, when you shave your head or whatever, you kind of leave that open.
If you're in that if you're in the public eye like that, like, and you know what? Yeah, if you're in the public eye and you're going to get mad at that, but the worst part about it, really, is the fact that he was laughing.
He was. He was laughing, and then he looked at her, and then he got all mad.
Yeah, well, he looked at her. She had that resting bitch face, and fellas, we all know what that is. Like, that's like, you could feel that burn coming in from like the side of your face, and it just like, right here. But yeah, she gave him that, like, that you're gonna let him say that, and I just think like the whole thing is like, why? What gives you the right? Like, also, it's also like, how are you gonna be offended about, like, I don't know how to put this. I had the right way to say it.
No, you're good, bro. Take your time.
It's like, how do you feel like you're that important that you could walk up to somebody on stage, regardless if it's at the Oscars or like if it's there, when you know you're on live television, and you walk up and you smack another human being for millions to see, and you walk back to your seat and sit down and not expect repercussions.
Yeah,
the worst part is that they gave him the fucking Oscar after. They let him come up and receive his Oscar. No. Yeah. No, I think it's setting a horrible example for not only just comedians, but people in general. So, like, let's just say me and you are out. Me and you, we don't know each other. We're out on the street, or we know something of each other. Like, we're out on the street. We're just like walking down the street. You say something along the lines to, like, my chick or a chick that I'm walking with. You say along the lines of, that chick has a nice ass, and I hear you. Do you think I'm going to do anything about that? Fuck no. Just you saying that makes me feel better. That my woman is desirable.
This is a thin line to kind of like.
I mean, it's not a thin line, but like that is like.
Well, yeah. It's your viewpoint.
He makes a jab about It's the same thing. Like you make a jab about a girl I'm with, ass or whatever, hair, regardless. But it's a positive thing. Like I'll take that as a positive thing. Like I won't be like, hey, why are you looking at my chick's ass and go up and beat the shit out of you?
Well,
just,
I think
even
if somebody does see it as a negative, resorting to physical violence is always last type of thing.
I have a policy about violence and like when it's right to use. Mm-hmm. When somebody that is in a vulnerable situation gets used, that's when I start to use. That's when I'm ready to go.
Could you give an example?
Sure. I was at a bar down the Seaside.
Word.
And these three dudes were like attempting to hijack this one female. And I was with a bunch of my friends like down there. We were hanging out. We were walking, and I witnessed it, and it doesn't sit right with me. That doesn't sit right with me at all. And yeah, I went over to them and I was like, "Hey guys, like, what's going on here? Is she okay? Like, what's going on? Like, see if I could help." And then they were just like, "Oh no, get away here. She's fine." Like, like just pushing me away and like trying to like keep themselves between me and her. I was like, okay. Like, I knew that right then and there what they were trying to do. They were trying to take advantage of her and bring her back to the sleazy motel that they bought for $300 for 4 nights. And yeah, I'm not going to go into it because that's not something that I would like to go into. Like,
no, you're chilling, bro.
But, well, I'm not. It's just not decent. But like that, I knew right then and there that's what they were trying to do. So then I stepped in and I was like, you know what, fuck it. You know what, I'd rather get my ass beat by these three and the cops are called and she gets to run. She gets scot-free. I'll take that beating 100% every day. And it's also the thing is I have a little sister too. So it's like if somebody tried to do it to my little sister, I'll rip I will slice I will cut you off with a chainsaw. Like that's how bad it is. But like I was like, you know what? You can't do that. That's what, and you know what? Violence is useful. Should never be first resort. But knowing how to defend yourself and like be on the defensive instead of the offensive I think everybody should take a martial art class or anything like that. Me personally, I don't, but I've been in enough bar fights and stuff that I know how to handle myself. But yeah, you don't use violence. You only use violence when it's dire need. When the words don't work, fists do. And yeah, I kicked the shit out of those three. I was hammered too. I had the beer muscles. I had a couple Budweisers in me. Couple, but meaning like a couple cases. So yeah.
A couple cases.
Couple cases. Yeah, I've been known for I drank 12 beers in 36 minutes.
Jesus.
Sitting down, not moving. Like I call it the 12-pack challenge. And it's how fast can you finish a 12-pack? But you sit down. You have the case in front of you. How many you get down, but you can't move, you can't get up to take a piss. You got to keep it down, and that's the hard part, keeping it down. And then also when you finish them, you have to sit there for 20 minutes.
It would take me a day, dude.
I've done it 3 times.
Jesus.
Yeah, I've done it 3 times. One time I did it, nobody was even around. I did it just for my own pleasure.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just sitting in my garage. I'm like, how? I only had like 3 hours to drink or something like that. I was like, how fucked up do I think I could get? 12-pack challenge. Let's go.
Word. I
got the whole thing down in like 40. Like the first time I did it was like 48 minutes. Mm-hmm. I tried to get it down in an hour. It was 48 minutes. Then I did it again and I shattered that. It was like, and then the next one was like 40 minutes. And then 36 minutes is the best time. I've been trying to get the 12 into 30 minutes, but I feel like you're going into liver failure if you do that.
Yeah, dude, I already have like small liver issues, so I try.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I like a good beer. You know what I mean? I like tequila on the rocks. That's kind of been my thing recently.
Yeah, well, tequila's some good shit.
Yeah,
like,
so
I like 1800. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
1800. Hornados I can do, but if you have 1800, I prefer it.
Hell yeah.
1800 is just so good. I can't do like gold tequila. Gold tequila sucks for me. Like I just can't do it. Tastes like jet fuel.
Yeah, a little bit. Depending on like really like it's funny. I have some Mexican friends who really try to put me on. I'm like, yeah. I got some friends who are just like they give me some tequilas sometimes and they let me try it.
I love trying new tequila.
Bro.
Like
and it's
as long as it's clear, I'll try any tequila.
Hell yeah. You know, I try some of these spiced ones too, and it's a good time.
I can't do spice though.
Yeah,
I can't do like Taco Bell mild sauce gets me going.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I can't do spicy stuff at all.
Yeah, that's I actually have
even being in the room with like spicy food. I'll just like get me the fuck out of here. Like my eyes start watering and everything. I just can't do it. I think I'm just too white.
No, bro. I mean, like, dude, the difference in how everybody like takes.
I can't do it. Like my dad will chug Tabasco barbecue sauce, no problem.
You even do that?
My brother, what?
Tabasco, like
I know. You put sriracha near me and I start going like dry heaving. Like, yeah, can't do it. Can't do spice. I love Peruvian food. Peruvian food is elite, dude.
Dude, actually,
it's elite.
I don't know if you're trying to soften me up here, bro. You know I'm Peruvian, right?
Really?
I'm Peruvian, dude.
Okay.
That's literally all I fucking eat. Yeah.
Yeah, Peruvian food is
lomo
where it's
saltado,
at.
papa la gallina.
Oh, dude, I don't give a fuck what it is. If it's Peruvian, I'm eating it. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, ceviche is my favorite.
Yeah, ceviche's great, bro.
But, like,
my uncle makes a 6 ceviche.
I literally, if it's Peruvian, I'm in. Like, that's it. Like, I don't care what it is. It could literally be like you could take a sea turtle's dick and fry it up and say it's Peruvian. I'll fucking eat the whole damn thing. I'll lick the plate clean, dude. It's really bad. I love seafood, so like it's Peruvian. It's like, oh my god.
How'd you discover Peruvian food?
Oh, it's just like my dad traveled a lot too, so like, and also like.
I mean, if it's in Patterson, you know
it's Patterson. You go at the
biggest Peruvian population is like basically in Patterson.
In Patterson, you have every type of food you want. You have in Patterson.
That's true. That's
like,
true.
If you want something and Patterson doesn't have it, you're stingy as hell.
Yeah.
You don't know what good food
and
is.
good prices too. Like you could get a fat plate of rice for like $4.
Yeah,
$5.
The place that I go to is 2000s Dominican.
Word.
But it's still good. It's 2000. It's on 10th Ave. It's awesome, and I get rice and beans with pernil.
yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. That's what's up.
Well, because I had to learn how to speak Spanish a little bit. I can't speak Spanish, but I could get to the airport and the bar. Like that's it. Like yeah.
Okay,
I can get to the airport and the bar.
Hey, shit, man. That's all you really need, man.
That's all you need. Like if you're traveling to any Spanish speaking country, like donde está el aeropuerto or donde está cervezas.
Yeah.
Like that's,
and they'll lead you.
Oh,
there, man.
literally just that was point that way, just that way.
Yeah, I think because you
just sniff it out.
Because your preferred beer is Budweiser, obviously, right?
I got it tattooed on me. That's how much I love it.
Yeah, I saw the tattoo too, man. That's just sick. It's crazy. I don't know if I have a preferred beer, but I mean, like, being Latino and stuff, like usually the one that's go to for me is Corona. Yeah. You could put a little lime on that shit. Yeah, Heineken too. Yeah.
Served in 197 countries or whatever like that. Yeah, Heineken's great.
So do you find yourself like being in and around the Patterson a lot?
Well, my dad's office is in Patterson.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
If I'm bored, I'll go stroll. I'll go like drive around Patterson.
Do you eat a lot in Patterson at all?
Yeah. I'll go. My favorite place in Patterson is Patsy's.
Word.
Patsy's Pizza. Oh my god.
Word, dude.
Patsy's Pizzeria is the best pizza in the fucking world.
Honestly, I've never had it.
You know Barstool?
Yeah.
Dave Portnoy, you know how he got famous off the whole pizza thing?
Yeah.
He went there and he gave it a 9.8. It's the highest he ever gave. It's the highest rating he ever gave any pizza.
Oh, bro, we should stop by there. Then.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You should. It's literally just go there by yourself, dude. You literally and just ask for one pie, one plain pepperoni pie, and you tell me if it's not the best damn pizza.
Hell yeah, dude. So tell me a little bit too. I feel like, throughout like looking through your Instagram, kind of knowing you too, like you really big on family as well, right? Or...
I mean, like for me, it's for me, like personally, like not even just because I grew up around my family, like had my family around. I just think family is like the most important thing. Like if you can't rely on family, you're truly alone. I mean, yeah, I love my family and all, but like your family like piss you off, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like, I love my family. They're great. I got good mom and dad. They're good mom and dad. Not gonna say anything bad about them. They have their spells, but it's like they're your mom and dad. You can't. I love my dad. I'm named after him basically. I'm Anthony Ernest Stefanelli, the 14th.
For like the 14th?
14th, going back to Italy, yeah.
Holy shit. That's crazy.
It's Antonio Ernesto Stefanelli. That was their name when they came over from Italy, but when they said it to Americans, they wrote it down as Anthony Ernest Stefanelli. So, yeah, I'm the 14th. There's a lineage of Anthony Ernest Stefanelli's. My lineage goes back for 14 generations.
That's literally sick, dude.
Yeah.
And do you can you name everybody in there? Oh, I mean, they all have
They're all the same name, yeah.
Fuck
it's Anthony Ernest Stefanelli. That name's gone back for 14. You could say at least 600 years.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't do my lineage that bad.
Yeah.
But me and my dad have the same name. Me and my
You got a middle name? You could say middle name?
Well, that's why I call myself Beto, actually, because my middle name is Alberto, right?
Okay.
So the nickname for that in Spanish is Beto.
Gotcha.
So, but me and my dad have the same name, so he can't be calling my dad the same name and my same name.
Yeah.
So they call him Tito, which is kind of like a nickname for like Tio.
Yeah.
And then for me, they call me Beto because his nickname is Alberto and stuff.
Yeah, my dad goes by Tony, so it's a little bit easier. I go by Steff.
Word.
I've gone by Steff. I used to hate the name. Like, they would make fun of me. Like, they would like, Steff. They would call me Steff, and I didn't like that.
Oh, why? Because it kind of sounds like, I guess.
It sounded like a girl name.
Yeah. I don't even think about that now, bro.
It sounded like a girl name, and they would call me Steff, and they call me Stephanie, and all that stuff, and it would piss me off. Like, you know what? I go by Steff because there's goddamn too many Anthonys in this damn state. I had like 5 or 6 Anthonys in my kindergarten class alone. So I was like, I got really tired of putting my hand up, or all 5 Anthonys or 6 Anthonys putting up their hands. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. They call me Steff. I'll take it. I'll run with it. Call me by my last name.
Word.
I hate my first name now because there's so many Anthonys.
Word.
So everybody has an Anthony in their family.
So what do you actually like? What's your occupation? Like, what do you do?
I'm pretty much unemployed.
Word.
So
what are you?
I'm looking at welding. I could weld. I'm looking anything outside. Really, I love working outside. I just love being outside. Like, it's something about just being out and seeing green grass and everything. Just so much better for your mental health. So much better. Like,
is mental health like a big thing to you?
Well, yeah, mental health. You got to worry about your mental health. Like, if you're that person that's like, "Hi, how you doing?" Like, all just like all wound up like that. All it takes is like somebody like scratching your car, and you just like decapitate them. Like when you're uptight like that, like you're just like, you're not. It's not good. It's not good to be like, oh, how you doing? Like all that happy-go-lucky all the time. Like if you're like that, like and you can handle that, rock it. Like rock it. Fuck what I'm saying. But yeah, it's like those people that you could see that they're like a hair away, like a hair away from losing it. You can just tell. I can look at people and I could tell. I could tell, especially for little kids. I could tell when a little kid's being abused.
Word.
I could look. It's the look. It's the eyes.
The eyes.
The eyes. It's like I could tell within like a 90% certainty if a kid's being abused by anybody in this household. with like 90% certainty just by looking at them.
Do you feel like you see a lot of kids who are getting abused and stuff?
I see enough. I see probably one every like once in a while, like once every like 10 days, I'll see a kid and I'm like, oh, that kid got it rough. I can just look at him and I can just tell. It's just like I tuned in to all those things. The social cues. I think
Well, I do think social cues are super important. You know?
I think also understanding that those little it's called signal intelligence. The signal intelligence. It's like this guy, I see him always. Changing routine is a really big sign of that something's up with somebody. If you understand that somebody does something in a certain pattern, like I know what for me, a big pattern is getting up when I wake up, have a cigarette or whatever, have a smoke, have a cigarette, have some water, take a shower. And I understand like when I'm more in a depressed mood, I don't like my patterns change, and I can notice that with people too. That like you notice that one person always does something a certain way, and then you see them the next day and they do it a totally different way. That's a number one sign that something bad happened. There's just all those little things that I can't explain how I know it. It's just like just by being aware. You got to be aware of your surroundings all the time, aware of everything. Because if you're not aware, then you're not ready to react.
So, have you ever really got into like a deep depressive spell or anything?
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
how do you deal with that? Because do you see therapists or anything?
I used to when I was a kid. I saw a lot of them, mainly because I have severe ADHD, or I did. Mm-hmm. Sort of learn coping mechanisms for them, and it's just a shit ton of pot. But it's like, yeah, my mental health was a little shaky as a kid because I never really found my place. Like I knew I was good at sports. I knew I was I was trying to be a good friend. I was a decent person. And I just didn't know where my place in the world was. It was also like.
Do you still feel like you're searching for that now?
Oh, you're always searching for your place in the world. If you could say that you found your place in the world and you never found it, you got to be totally lost to find your place in the world.
I kind of feel that because it's interesting to me because kind of going back to what you were saying before, you know, you talked about, you know, oh, like I wanted to be an architect.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you were talking about the gray hair stuff, you're like, you know, you feel like your gray hairs come when you start realizing that your dreams don't come true. And it's like, I feel like
it doesn't mean you shouldn't stop dreaming.
It's very true. I could.
That doesn't mean that you should not stop dreaming.
But you know what? Like I feel like right now, I feel like it's a really weird age that we're in right now because I'm 24. You're probably 25, right?
24.
Oh, you're 24 too. I bet.
June 20th, 1997.
Bet. I'm December 24th, 1997.
Yeah. I should have been in your grade.
I'm also a little bit weird on the cutoff because I'm like,
I should have been there. Yeah.
But you know, I think it's interesting because right now I feel like we have so much knowledge of just like we have way exponentially more knowledge than we did maybe like 4 years ago. You know, because you think
also on a personal level.
Well, I think in general, like how it kind of blossoms because you think, you know, 1 to 10, you're kind of just fucking around. You're a little kid, you know what I mean?
You don't know jack. Like, studies say your first memory is probably around 3 years old.
Yeah.
Me is way before that. I remember my first memory that I actually remember, like consciously, was the day that my great grandfather died, and I was 1.5 years old.
Word, that's crazy that you remember that.
I remember to the day, like honestly, like I remember the day it happened. I remember everything about it, and it's weird. Like you should not be able to remember that, but it's a traumatic event, so your brain takes an imprint of it, and that was a traumatic day for me. But like that's when you're 1 in 10, you don't know jack. you're running around. You don't know what anything is. You don't even know what your body is.
Like, yeah, because like your knowledge of the earth, I feel like is just not. It's you're not worried about those things, and there's a certain thing where it comes like I hope kids are like that. I would rather them hold their innocence as long as they can in a sensible way. You know what I mean? Because like I feel like
innocence and curiosity.
Yeah, like I feel like to a certain extent, it's like dude, like. I wouldn't want my kid to be worrying about like fucking getting fucked up on the playground or something and just playing around. Like, you want them to just have fun. But when you start getting into high school, you start learning a little bit more about the earth. I remember the first time like I started learning about like genocides and shit. Yeah. And I'm just like, bro, like that's a good thing that's not happening today. Like good thing like nothing's happening. And then that's what I'm saying. When you're learning in
it's also if you forget history, it's gonna repeat.
Exactly.
And I feel like we're in a weird time right now where I think we forgot about what happened about 100 years ago.
Yeah.
That how like some of our grandfathers and great grandfathers went away and to fight people that were systematically evil. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to even mention their name because it's not even worth mentioning who they fucking are. But there are some evil people in the world, and like even nowadays, the best thing about nowadays, right? You don't know what's going on, but in 20 years, there's going to be a documentary about what was going on, and something will leak that back in like 2022, this country was doing X amount of shit with X amount of people, and you don't know. And that's the best part about the time that we're in. This is the greatest time to be alive. Our time.
How so? Why do you think it's the greatest?
How about the fact that if you were here about 250 years ago, you probably would be dead within a week.
Okay.
Because of the amount of wolves, coyotes, brown bear, black bear, mountain lions, cougars, bobcats, whatever you want to name it. It was here trying to kill you and eat and survive. You don't think now you don't have to worry about I don't know, bubonic plague.
I mean, you barely have to worry about shit now. You know what I mean? You could. I think one of the beautifulest things, and listen, I'm not even trying to be political at all, but like. I think one of the most beautiful things about the United States and about America is that you have the freedom to do whatever the fuck you want, whether it's good or bad. Like you could literally choose to not learn.
That's the dichotomy of the American dream. You know what that dichotomy is about the American dream?
What?
The American dream used to be you could come here and you could do whatever the fuck you want. But it also turned into a nightmare. Dreams can't have nightmares. So, like you said, you could come here and you could do whatever the hell you wanted. Like you could settle down, you could start a business and create all these opportunities. But on the same token, you could be a total rebel, live on the fringes of society and be an animal. And you could easily do that nowadays. Still, in this technological day, you go out to some of the Wyoming or Montana. Or Colorado, and I've been out there and I've driven out there. There's nothing for 500 square miles. Nothing. Probably like a couple hunted cabins here and there. But you know how big 500 square miles is?
Probably way bigger than I fucking ever traveled before.
It's bigger than the state, I'm pretty sure. That's bigger than the state. 500 miles. There's only like probably couple towns. They're 250 population plus. Wide open high deserts. There's so much land that you could go out there and do whatever the fuck you wanted. You could, and still to this day, you could go out there and you could still, if you could rely without your cell phone or any GPS equipment, you could live without being tracked all the way out there, because there is nothing. Absolutely not. The whole Great American West is nothing. There's nothing there. And you could literally, if you feel like it, you could literally live out there and be on the fringes of society, living like our ancestors did when they first came over on the ships. It's extraordinary. And I mean, when I mean ancestors, this is like within 100 years.
Yeah, I think people don't realize too, like how much has fucking happened within just the past 100 years. You know, you're talking about 100 years. We're 2022, right? 100 years ago, around this time, we're going through, I think, the fucking the Great Depression, right? That's the early 20s.
Yeah.
So that's 100 years ago. And think about you. I know my grandma. She's like fucking. She's kicking right now. God bless her soul.
Dust Bowl.
She's like 90 fucking something.
Yeah.
Right?
I only have one grandma left, but
like
I only have my mom's mom left. But like, it's just within 100 years. Like my grandma remembers V-Day. Us winning World War II. She remembers that. My grandpa remembers handing out the papers of D-Day. And it's just like within their parents' generation, their parents were born in my grandfather's father was born in like 1899. So that's not, we're only a couple generations from pre-industrial revolution.
Are you
or the second one, the second industrial revolution, I should say, not the one that happened in Britain, the one that happened here, and that was around 1912.
So are you really into history and shit like that?
I think history is the most. It's the only. It's. Listen, if you don't want to know what the fuck happened in the past, like that's why I said if I was given a time machine, I wouldn't go back. Like the first thing you're supposed to do is go back and kill baby Hitler, right? But
yeah,
that's what the unanimous thing to do is, right? Me, I want to go and see how the first person discovered milk. I want to know what he did to the udder. I also think the blowjob was created on the first day too, on the same day. I think the milk and blowjob were created on the same day. I'm sorry. I honestly do. Yeah. I think the first person to discover milk was the first person to get a blowjob.
That's a hell of a theory.
That's what I want to do. Like, you give me a time machine, that's the first thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm going back to see how the first person discovered milk. I want to see what that fucking sick bastard did to it. I want to see all the ways he tried to get it. And then
I guess that's kind of weird thinking about,
you know?
Right? Fuck yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I want to go
crazy.
back to see the first of most things. Like,
yeah.
Fuck, well, obviously, I want to go back to I want to go back and witness an Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address.
Yeah, some of the old stuff is kind of cool just to like.
Yeah.
You ever see I'm a really big YouTube, like, I just like watching videos on YouTube, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like I just watch like historical shit.
Weird shit, yeah.
Most recently I've actually like been watching old historical videos of like, old film cameras that random people had, and they just took videos of like New York back in like fucking like, I don't even know how old these films are, but like you see how everybody dresses, it's just different. There's also this TikTok page recently, I forget what it's called, fuck, I wish I could shout them out right now, but they just put up old videos of what New Jersey was like back in the day, and
40 years ago this whole place was farmland, or no, 80 years ago this whole place was farmland.
Yeah, and there's still some big farms kicking it around. Like I actually deliver. I used to work for Sip and Swirl out in and we deliver
a lot of farms. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, dude, and they the difference in culture too.
That's why I like Jersey. I sort of I'm like, I always hate Jersey just because fuck Jersey, but like we have everything.
I think we do.
We have beaches. We have pines. We have cities. We have suburbs. We have rural, we have mountains, we have rivers, we have lakes. We got it all.
Yeah, to be honest, like I'm in love with Jersey.
We just got
I have a
so many
love-hate relationship.
fucked up idiots in this damn state. That's the problem.
We do got people who don't. I feel like a lot of people. You know what's crazy? I feel like a lot of inner city suburban kids, they don't experience enough of the outside.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, oh, fuck Jersey, I'm trying to get out of here, I'm trying to do this. The only thing I could say, the biggest downside, I think, to the northern East Coast of the United States is literally the weather.
First.
What?
The weather?
The weather, yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the cold, but you know what? I think usually I get tired of the weather right at the tail end of winter. If it's a long winter, that's when I get tired of it.
I'm gonna explain to you that the reason why you don't like this cold is the damp cold. It's not because Alaska's cold. It's not cold. It's really not. It feels cold, but it's not. It's great. You can walk outside when it's 40 degrees and wear shorts.
No way.
Yeah, because the sun is just beating on you the whole time, and it's also the sun is at a higher point. It's higher point, and there's less atmosphere at the poles. There's less atmosphere at the poles, so the cold isn't really cold. It's more of a brisk cold. But when it snows, it snows. Like we got caught in a 5-day perpetual snowstorm, and I'm telling you, Jersey cold is colder than Alaska cold, hands down. Or at least the area I was in Alaska, hands down.
So how was your trip in Alaska?
Oh, that was great. I went out there, just me and my cousin. My cousin has a house out there. He moved out there about 2 or 3 years ago.
Shit. Well, does he live in a part of Alaska that's hard to get to? Or
no. He lives on a Kenai Peninsula.
So like, how's the trip out to Alaska?
It's like 5 miles. It's like 5 hours away from Anchorage.
Anchorage. So did you have to take a plane to Anchorage and then drive?
I had to take. Going out there, we took a flight from Newark to St. Paul, Minnesota.
Okay.
Minnesota to Seattle. Seattle to Anchorage, and then we took a puddle jumper from Anchorage to Kenai.
What's a puddle jumper?
It's like one of those small little things.
Oh.
You ever watch like the honey shows and stuff? You ever watch a honey show or anything like that? Or it's like a 14-man plane. It's a real small little thing, probably about 25 feet long, 30 feet long.
And is it puddle jumper because it goes on the water and shit?
They have them, but they call them puddle jumpers because when you do fly, they all look like there's all these little lakes that look like puddles.
Oh, word.
So
okay, cool.
And plus around there, in Alaska, that's another form of transportation. Like kids 15, 16, they get taught in high school how to fly a plane.
Yeah, I actually want to learn how to fly a plane, dude.
It's not that hard.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
I've done simulations and stuff, but it's really not that hard.
Because they have some flight schools like around our area too.
Yeah,
man. Like it just freaks me out to think about like falling out of the sky and shit.
Listen, you know I'm petrified of heights, but I don't mind them, mainly because I only don't mind if I could see like in front of me. Like in those puddle jumpers, I had no problem, but in like the big jumbo jets, hated them. Because if I'm driving, I'm fine. But if I'm not in control of it, that's where I'm like, I don't want my life to be in the hands of somebody. I'm not a trusting human being when it comes to that.
Word.
I do not trust like a lot of people, and that comes from a couple past relationships that fucked me up. So I don't trust easily. I lost that part of me, and I really don't. That was my best like feeling, was be able to trust everybody. My trust, like being trustworthy, but I'm like, fuck off now. Like,
so how do you feel? So how do you develop a relationship? It doesn't even have to be romantic, but like, trust is a big part. I mean, don't get me wrong.
I usually just like say something fucked up. That's how I really start with my relationships nowadays, because like it's like I'm gonna be saying fucked up shit the whole time. So let's just get this fucking shit out of the way early. Like if you rock with what I'm gonna be saying, I'm gonna be saying some dark stuff and some fucked up stuff and shit that you probably don't want to hear, but you're gonna hear it.
So do you feel like the dark and fucked up shit that you say, is it more towards comedy, or do you feel like it's like more?
It was my coping mechanism. It's my coping mechanism for stress and all that stuff. Yeah, it's definitely my coping mechanism. Just being dark humor, like it equates it to like you're doing something for so long and you're being like you're stuck in a rut. Actually, no, that's not what I'm saying. Like it's more like I'm in a fucked up situation, but if I was in this situation, it'd be fucking way worse. That's I think why the dark humor is awesome for me, because you could always be in a worse situation than you are in. So like the dark humor, like it reminds me, it's like subconsciously reminds me that like you could be in a way worse spot than you are now.
Word. And do you feel like the people who are closest to you like kind of understand that, so they don't really get hurt or offended by it?
I'm more of an enigma. So, but it's also my brother has a dark sense of humor. My sister does. It's just like it's part of our family nature to have dark sense of humor. But like we know what's fucked up or not. Like we joke around. We're like that's when people walking over my house. it's really weird. We act more like a fraternity than a family. Yeah,
How
it's
so?
really because I'm a boozer.
Okay.
I'm a big boozer. I love beer. I will not start drinking unless I have an 18 pack in front of me.
Okay.
Like that's how I need an 18 pack and 2 packs of cigarettes. Like if I don't have that, I'm not drinking.
Okay.
And a little bit of weed. Like
Okay.
weed helps.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, my dad drinks a lot. My mom hates it. She hates it. But
Your mom doesn't drink at all?
she'll have like a glass of wine here and there. But like she doesn't like not me and my dad. My brother is a little closet junkie though. Little bit in the closet about it. But my sister, she's 15. She's just getting into the fucking game. She's just getting into the fucking game.
Oh my god!
I realized since my sister grew up and went to high school, I lost my game for a little bit, like with like the ladies.
Like why? Because you're just protective over your sister.
Well, now I'm playing defense. Now I gotta play defense instead of because for the whole time when she was like in like eighth grade and lower, I was always on the offense. So now I'm sort of like I gotta play defense. So the offensive shit has been put on the back burner. But
so what if a guy, like you, personality wise, like
oh no, you're out. Yep, you're out. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, just I'll kick him right the fuck out, dude. Yeah, I'm like, nah, you don't do that, Allie. Do not. I remember my mom said something along the lines of, "Hey, Allie, if you ever meet a person or meet a dude and they act just like your brother, don't bring him home, because I'll probably either kick the shit out of him or we'll get along so well that it will be horrible." Yeah.
They're less of a 16 pack, more of like a 32 pack, right?
Oh, dude, I could if I start in the morning, I could kill like probably a 30 pack.
Yeah.
If I start like right in the morning.
Fuck, dude.
I probably killed the most beers I've killed in a night was probably like 25, 26. That was like full day. Like I've killed a 30 in a full day.
Right.
So
yeah, I
could put them down.
I don't think I've ever like done that much. I mean, like I used to be in a frat. And like we would drink a lot then. I think that's the most I've ever drank.
Yeah.
Have you ever had like a really bad hangover? Or is are you like impervious to that now?
I think I've been hungover for so long that like it's just like a compounded hangover.
It doesn't feel like anything anymore.
I wake up, I feel even if I don't drink, I feel hungover.
Word.
Deadass, I feel hungover from not having a hangover.
Word,
so it's
word.
like I wake up and I'm always like my head's fucking pounding.
How many times have you like blacked out, for example?
Oh fuck, I brown out. I brown out a lot when I drink on an empty stomach. Do not drink on an empty stomach. It's a fun game to play, no doubt, but it's not something that you want to fucking be doing on a regular basis. I realized when I used to black out a little bit more often because of what I was drinking. I was killing a bottle of Jägermeister a night, like the big bottle, like the massive like fucking handles bottle. I was killing that in a night of Jaeger.
Yeah.
I wake up and I'd be like, how the hell? Where am I? I remember I woke up on my friend's doorstep, which I thought was my friend's doorstep, but it was his neighbor's.
Oof.
Yeah.
How does that? Did they find you?
Oh no.
You just woke up before anybody got.
Well, yeah. I went to the Maggie's Town Tavern. I got really fucked up there. My phone died, so I couldn't call an Uber home.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I gotta find a ride home, and I couldn't get they closed. So like I literally left that last call. They closed. I left. My phone died. I didn't want to go back in and bother him because I was fucking pissed drunk. So I was like, you know what? I'll walk to my boy's house and pass out on his front porch or whatever. And walked all over his house. He has like outdoor furniture. Passed the fuck out there. Woke up the next morning and I look up and I'm like, this is not Evan's house. Or this is not whoever's house it is. Woke up. It was about like 6:30 on a Saturday. Cold as fuck. I remember it was like this was like in this spring, so it was like 40 degrees outside. I saw my phone was dead. I was like, how the fuck do I do this? So luckily I walked to his house and he's like, what the fuck are you doing here? You look horrible. You smell like a booze. Like you smell like an ashtray. And I'm like, yeah, I fell asleep on your neighbor's porch thinking it was your house. He's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I fell asleep on that house right there. And he's like, oh, you motherfucker.
What would you do if you found someone just pissed drunk and on your front porch sleeping? I feel like you'd probably
I'd bring him
them.
in. I'd bring him in. You know what?
You feel for him.
Yeah, I would feel for him. Well, I mean, like, yeah, me, because I've been there. I've done that. I've passed out everywhere. I passed out in a hot tub.
You could die from that, bro.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you get boiled alive. Yeah. I passed out in the snow in a bad winter. Passed out in a hammock down the shore during a hurricane.
Okay.
Yeah. I've woken up outside not knowing where I am. Yeah.
And how does that journey like?
Oh, usually within 5 or 10. If I have my phone in my wallet, I'm like, all right, good night. Dust yourself off. Get up. Start fucking figuring out where the fuck you are. Like, if I wake up with my phone in my wallet in my pants, I'm fine.
Word.
I got no problem. Whatever happened, it happened. It's behind me. Yeah. I've done some fuck shit. No, most of the stuff I'm not gonna say because it'll incriminate me.
I got you, bro. You don't have to. You don't have to. I think everybody listening gets the gist.
I've done some fucked up shit. I took a shit on somebody's front porch down the shore when I was pissed drunk. Yeah,
that's a lot.
I used my socks to wipe too.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Left them right there, one next to another.
Oh no,
it's horrible.
So do me a favor, bro, because we're getting it's getting towards the end of the podcast, bro.
Yep.
But I did have some last questions. I just kind of want to run by you.
Yeah, go for it.
I got 3.
Yep.
First one is, are you happy? It's kind of like a 2-in-1.
Okay.
Are you happy? If you are or if you're not, how do you then achieve happiness?
I'm happy with myself mainly because like you got to be happy with yourself even if you're not, because if you're not happy with yourself at the beginning, you're pretty much setting yourself up for failure. But yeah, happiness is also a state of mind. Like, and also you can't rely on anything else to make you happy. It's yourself. Like you're the only person that can make you happy. If you're trying to expect somebody to make yourself happy, to make you happy, it's not going to work out. It's not going to work. You have to find happiness by yourself. You have to find it within yourself, because then once you find it within yourself, then you could be happy with other people. Because if you're not happy with yourself, you have no shot for a relationship, really. Well, not really no shot, but you're setting yourself up for failure because you don't like yourself. So therefore, how can you like somebody else?
That's some real shit, bro.
Yeah,
that's for sure some real shit. Dope. And I got another question for you. If you had to give yourself any type of advice whenever you were at your lowest point, what advice would you give yourself?
I would say probably it's an old farmer's adage. It's keep your head to the plow. Just keep going. You can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about your past. You can only do whatever's in front of you. Like, that's the first rule of Italian driving. What's behind you is of no concern. It's behind you. It's behind you because you put it there. Like, it's there. You can't do anything about it. So why would you harbor all this emotion about something that you have no control over? It's happened. Move on. Learn from it. And then when you come across it again, you remember it. Remember what happened. Because if you remember what happened, then you won't make the same mistake. Because what's insanity? It's doing something the same way over and over, expecting a different result. So, yeah, just keep your head to the plow. Like, just keep on chugging. That's it. You can't if you stay still, you stop and you seize up. It's like the old train analogy. There's a train with three cabooses and a locomotive going down a flat track. If it doesn't keep moving, it's going to stop, and if it stops, the wheels are going to stall, are going to seize up. The earth is going to grow over it, and it's going to cease to exist. It's going to go away. Just got to keep moving. Because if you don't keep moving, you die. If you don't, well, not die, but like, so.
Steff, I appreciate you
Hey,
for
awesome.
blessing us
Thank you.
with your presence today. If you have any social media, anything you want to shout
I don't
out,
just
any people you want to shout out?
just basically, I got an Instagram account, Drunkle Steffi. He'll drop the link. I only got Instagram account, and don't think it's gonna be much, because it's just basically me posting wild shit. And the reason why I do it is so motherfuckers can't post about me. Get cut to the chase. So, but yeah, I just basically post whatever I feel or whatever. Nothing, no motivational shit. That's not what you're gonna find there. It's just me being wild, and yeah, that's it. So
word, dude. And guys, you already know what it is. Ayoo Chill Podcast, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all the rest of this shit, dude. And thank you again for blessing us from the podcast, bro. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here.
Sweet, dude. How was it for you, man?
Oh, that's awesome. It's awesome.
Not too bad, right?
No, not at all.
It goes pretty quick.
Well, it's a conversation. Like that's what it is. Like,